In this video, I'll show you how to make this YouTube UI animation transitioning into the YouTube's analytics all inside of DaVinci Resolve. And the best part is you can use this trick on anything, whether you want to animate Twitter posts, websites or portfolios. This is an awesome way to bring life into your edits and make your edits stand out. But enough talking, let's just jump into the video. So now we're in DaVinci Resolve, and the first thing we're going to do is just jump into the settings here, and then we'll just make it 60 FPS. And the reason why I like to use 60 FPS is because we have a lot more frames and everything will look a lot smoother than if we do 30 FPS, for example. The next thing we're going to do is just go up to the effects here, and then we'll just grab a fusion composition where we're going to animate all the stuff in the fusion page. So let's just grab the fusion composition here and add it to the timeline. And then if we right click on it, we can do change clip duration, and then we'll just make it 6 seconds and 20 milliseconds, like that. Now I'll just grab the screenshot of my YouTube page, and I have linked everything below if you want to check it out, but you can also just use your own screenshots. And now I'm just going to take my screenshot and add it to DaVinci Resolve, and then we can just zoom it in and make it fit, and then we'll just make a compound clip out of it. So I'll just roll a bit down like this and move it over, and this looks pretty good. So what we'll do now is just right click on it, do compound clip, and then just do YouTube page, and then we can just delete this and then just jump into the fusion page. Now we'll just grab compound clip and add it like this, the media out, and then we'll just grab a background like this, and then we'll connect it into this one to make a merge in between. And then we can, as you can see, the background goes into the green input, which is the foreground, and then the screenshot goes into the yellow one, which is the background. So I'll just click on Ctrl T, and then it will be swapped. So as you can see, the color of this background on the YouTube page isn't the same as our background. So we will just take this color dropper here and add it above, and then we will just get the color. So what we're going to do now is we will just mask out everything, every object, and then we can animate it. What I like to do is just grab a multi-merge, and then we just connect it like this and this in here. And then we can just start masking things. So I'll just start off by masking my logo. I'll just grab a rectangle, and then we will just drag it up to the logo and just decrease the width of this and move it a bit over and decrease the height as well. So now we have masked the logo, and this is just what we're going to do for every part of this screenshot here. So we'll just mask out everything, and the more things we mask out, the more smooth and the more customizability we can have on the animation. But I won't do every single one because it will be quite time consuming. And now I'll just click on F2, and then I can rename this rectangle to PFP for profile picture. And then I'll just copy it and add it above like this, and add it like that to the multi-merge, and then just change this name to info, which is, and then just drag it above the channel name and the subscribe button as well. And if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe if you like this video, because there's a lot more of this content coming on your way. So now this is masked out, and then we just copy it and do this one more time, do like this, and then we can just click on 2 on this one. We can see it, and now just drag it over here and break this one down. So now we have this YouTube homepage and videos we can see. So this I'll just call pages, and we can add one more. So just copy this, and then I'll just connect everything like this, and now just rename this one to latest. And then I'll just copy it one more time, drag it up, and copy the one that's latest, do like this, and add it to the multi-merge. And here we're going to do all the videos. So I'll just take this, make it a bit bigger, and then we can do this video. So just make it so we can see everything, but not too much of the other ones. Just decrease the width a bit, this, so this one is the only one we see. Really cool. I'll just rename this to update, so I know it's the update video. Just copy this once again, and now we're just gonna do this for every single one of the videos. Awesome, so now we have separated all the elements in the screenshot, and we're ready to do the animation for it. And for this part, I'm going to be using the NeoAnim, which is a part of my own plugin pack. And it's going to save us a lot of time because we're animating different elements with different timings. This could easily save you 30 minutes. Honestly, it could even save you an hour on every project. And you can grab this down below if you want to. And don't worry, I'll show you how you can do everything without the pack as well. So let's just get into it. And if you haven't got the core pack, what I will recommend you to do is just delete this multi-merge, because it will be a lot harder to copy and paste the animations if we do it in the multi-merge. So what we're going to do instead is we'll just grab a merge instead, and then we'll just connect this into the foreground and this one in like this. Then we'll just grab a background node and add it into the background. Go to the background and turn the alpha all the way down to 0. What we can do now is animate the blend like this for the foreground. So we'll just do a quick blend animation. So we'll just go to frame 0, keyframe the blend and go to frame 30, keyframe it again, and then just go to the first one and drag down to 0. Then we just go to frame 30 and keyframe the center. Go back to frame 0 and just move it a bit to the left, for example. So we get this slide over. Now we're just going to go ahead into the spline editor, then just click on the displacement here and then zoom to fit so we can see everything. And then if you right click and do ease and then choose out cubic, we will get this really smooth animation. Let's just take a look at it. As you can see, we get this really clean animation. Now we can just copy this and add it above, then just hold shift like this, and then we'll just add this one in here. So as you can see, now we get an animation at the same time. This one I want to come from the right instead, so I'll just drag this one over in the beginning so it's from the right. Then I'll just go into the keyframe tab here and then do like this, and then just up here, mark it, and then just delay it with 10 frames, let's say. And as you can see, we can still see this part here, so we'll just drag this one down like that. And now it looks quite clean, and we can probably actually just make it 5 frames. Now we can just copy this one, add it above like this, and add this one into it. I'll just take the first one here, want it to slide from the left, and then we'll just delay this with 10 frames. So each one we delay it with 5 frames from the previous one, and then we can just add it one more time, and we'll just take this one because that slides from the right, and we want that for this one here. And then we'll just make this start at frame 15 by dragging it to frame 15, and then we get this really clean animation. And for the logos up here, we will just do the same thing. These ones I'll just like to slide from the bottom and then up. So I'll just make this X value 0.5, and this one I'll just make 0.45 like that, so we get this clean slide up. And this one I'll just delay to, let's do to frame 20. Then we'll just copy this one again and add it above like this, and then add the media into it, and then just drag it up and move it to frame 25, and then we get the clean animations. And this will just do for all of these, but now I'll show you how you can do it if you got the NeoAnim, which is a lot faster way to do it. So I'll just set back to where I had the good old multi-merge, and what I'm going to do with the multi-merge is I'll just grab the NeoAnim here, then this one is for the profile picture, so then if I want a size animation I can easily do that. I'll just click on that, and as you can see, looks quite weird now right now because it comes like that. So what you can do is just drag the pivot, and you can see the cross here, and then we'll just drag the pivot into the middle of the logo so it comes from the logo, the size of animation. As you can see, this looks really clean. Now we can just copy this, add this one to the info we got right here, and then you can see we get this really long slide out thing. But when we can just drag down the slide up offset to, let's just do 0.5, and as you can see, really clean. But I'll just make it come from the right, so I'll just do the angle and then I'll just do 0, so then it slides from the right like this, and this looks quite clean. Now I'll just copy it, add on this one here, and then this one I want to come from the left, so the angle will be 180. And then of course I need to remember to turn on the blend, so I'll just turn on the blend on both, which is just a opacity animation, which is just a simple fade on like that. So this one I want to be delayed with 5 frames, so I'll just do 5. This one will start at frame 10, so I'll do 10, and then I'll just copy this one here, and this one will be frame 15, so this looks quite clean. I'll just copy this, add it to this one here, and then I'll just, the angle will be -90, so we get a slide up, and it will come on at frame 20, so the in offset will be frame 20. And for all of this we'll just remove the out here, and the out simply means we get an out animation, and we want to do that for now. So I'll just copy this once again, add this to the one above, and then we'll just do 25 instead, add to this one here. And honestly we can just add all of these real quick, and then we just change the delay afterwards. So which, now the question is, which one did we come from? I think we did this one. Yeah, this one. So this one will just be 30, next one 35, and the one after that will be 40, this one will be 45 and 50, and then I'll just do 55. And now we'll just go ahead and take a look at what we already got. So let's just take a look at it. And as you can see, we get these really smooth animations. Looks super clean, to be honest. So the next thing I'm going to do is we want to make the transition into the YouTube analytics. Now what we're going to do is just, as you can see, we have this one which goes into the yellow input, which is the background. So if we want to affect anything, as you can see, this one up here isn't affected because this one goes into the yellow one. So I'll just remove this one, and then I want to highlight the ChatGPT video. So what I'll do is take this one here, the ChatGPT video, and then I will make this one go into the yellow input. So any changes I made to the effect mask will not be changing to this video here, if that makes sense. Or any blend changes won't be affecting this one. So I'll just grab a rectangle, add it to the effect mask, and then I'll just make it big like this. And then if I turn the level down, all we see is the ChatGPT video, which is what we want. If you did the other way, where if I just show you real quick, where you had the merges without the NeoAnim, make it a little quick. What you'll just go ahead and do, just take the rectangle, the effect mask, and then just plug this one into all of those that you don't want to see. So if I drag this one down to 0, as you can see, we only not see this one. So that's what you're going to do, just drag the rectangle into all the effect masks except the ChatGPT one. So let's just go ahead and go to frame 100, and then we'll keyframe the level, and then go to frame 60 and just drag this one down to 0. So as you can see, we get this nice transition. I'll just go into the spline, zoom to fit, and then I'll just click on S to smoothen out the curve, and just drag up the ease in quite a bit and the ease out as well. Now I'll just show you how to make the animation we want. So I'll just go to frame 100. First I'll just show you how you can do it. So you can just take a transform node for this one, then just keyframe it at the center, and just go to frame 160 for example, and just drag it up a bit like this. You can see we get it sliding up a bit. Looks quite clean. What we'll do now is just go into the spline, highlight everything, and click on S, and just drag up the ease in quite a bit and the ease out a little bit as well. So we get this smooth animation like that, and it looks a bit weird, as you can see, because this one isn't the layer above. So what we'll do in this one here, you see in the rectangle right now it's all the way over like this, but what we'll do, we'll just make it go over here and then like this. So this spot here is safe, you can say, and then just click on invert and just do something like this, so it slides up without getting the thing. And this animation looks really clean. And then we'll just make it slide up to the left corner. So I'll just go to, let's say, frame 220, and then just drag it up in the left corner like so. And then I'll just do similar animation curve. So just F, drag up the ease in and the ease out as well. So we see it sliding up, and then it will go to the left corner. And what we'll do now is just make this kind of transition into another background. So I'll just grab a fast noise and add it like this. And then for the color, we're just gonna be choosing this blue kind of color, because the UI animation we'll be doing later is this kind of blue color. So then I'll just drag brightness down quite a bit, and we can just scale it down a bit like this, and then you can just drag through the C's until you get something you like. So now we get this really cool background. So I'll just go to frame, let's just do 140, let's say, keyframe the blend, and go to frame 180, keyframe it again, and just go to the first one and just drag this one down to 0, so blends on this blue background. So now this animation is in place if you got the NeoAnim and if you don't got the NeoAnim. What we need to do now is we just need to do some text animations. So we'll just do these kind of text animations below. So what we'll be doing for that is I'll grab the animated texts from my animated text pack, but I'll of course also show you how you can do it without it as well. So let's say you got either the starter pack, which is the free pack, you can grab down below. So you can just try 2 text animations, or you can grab the full animated text pack for just $14, and then you just get 48 drag and drop text animation presets. But what we can do is I'll just grab what's called slide left, character by character slide left, and add a merge and just add it into it. And I'll just make this one say engagement, and then just change the font to enter and do semi bold. And then you can just go into the keyframes tab and then just go to frame 200 and click on this one, and then just drag this one over like this, so you get animation. Now I'll just show you how you can do it manually if you don't have the animated text pack. So what we'll do is just grab a text plus from here, and I'll just type engagement and change and just drag it in like so. And what I'll do is just grab another merge like this, because we are going to do this with multiple other ones, and drag a background into it. Just turn the alpha down to 0, and this one we'll just click on Ctrl T to swap the inputs. This way we can drag down the blend of it if we want to do that later on. So I'll just go to frame 200, and then right click in this space here, and then I'll just do follower. Then you can go into the modifiers, and then you can keyframe the opacity, and then just go 25 frames ahead to frame 225, keyframe it, and then just go back to 0 and drag down the opacity. Then we can just go to the transform, keyframe the offset, and then just go back into the follower from the path and keyframe it at frame 225 again, and just drag it a bit to the right like this, so we get this slide. And then if we drag the delay up a bit, so let's just do 2, get this really clean animation. We now just go into the spline editor, where I can just smoothen out everything, and then just zoom to fit, Ctrl A, right click, do ease, and then do out cubic. So as you can see, now we get this really smooth slide left animation. As I said earlier, now we'll just make this one enter, and you can just find enter on Google, then there'll be a download for the font, and then we can just drag this one to the left like so, maybe slice it down just a little bit and move it over like so, and just go into the blend here and just do 0.5 maybe. Yeah, that's good, so it's just a little bit not completely visible. And then I'll just do gradient, and then just make the dark color here a little bit for lighter version of the gray, which is quite cool. And honestly, it's still a bit too big, so I'll just make it a bit smaller like this. And then I'll just copy this and add it right after, and make this one say reach. And for all of these, actually, we'll just anchor them to the left, and then we just slide it over. So when we copy it and paste it, it will be a lot easier to hit the same place every time. Copy this one more time and just drag it down a bit for this. And this one we'll just make say earnings. Let's just drag all of these over a little bit like this. And this last one here we'll just say audience, and then we'll just drag this one down below all of these, and then we can just go into each of them. And then first one here we'll just delay this, so we at frame 200, and then we'll just make it go on at 205, let's say. Next one here, let's do 210, and the last one will be 215, and this looks really clean. The thing we're going to do now is we'll just animate a MacBook cursor. So I'll just go into my finder here, and then we can just grab the Mac cursor, which is also linked in the description. If you want to use your own cursor, you can just use that if you want to. And this one we'll just add here like this, and then just add a transform into it. Go to frame 0, let's say, and size it down quite a bit. Something like this looks good. And then just keyframe the center, go to frame 100, this, go to frame 110 or 120 actually, maybe. Go to frame 120, keyframe it, and then just go back, and then just drag it over so it's on this video here, and just go to the first one, and then just drag it out of the screen like this. And then we can just change the path by clicking on this and just drag this up, for example. And this one we can also drag up a bit like this. So this looks quite clean. So as you can see now, we get the cursor animating on, and then we can just go into the spline here and then just mark all of these. Right click, choose ease, and then out cubic. And we want the click to be at, let's just do 105. So let's just keyframe the size, go 5 frames ahead to frame 110, and just size it up a bit, and then just go back, and then just go to frame 115, and then just copy the original size and add that. And then you just highlight, if we just move this one, displacement, and you just highlight all of these and click S for smoothen. So as you see, then we get that click, and it slides up and it begins animating, which is really cool. So now this mouse cursor will just be still until we see these animating on. So then we'll just go to frame 110, keyframe the center, and then just go to 290, and then just drag it over to earnings here, and then just zoom to fit on the placement, and then just click on S on the keyboard, drag up ease in a bit and the ease out as well. And honestly, we can make it start a bit earlier, so if you hold shift on it, you can just drag this one back to frame 110 or something like that. That way it will be really smooth and not too fast. And then we can just go to the one that says earnings, and I'll just rename this one to earnings. And then you just go into the merge and then keyframe when we can see the mouse cursor is on it like this. We can just keyframe the blend and then just go to frame where it's fully on and then just drag up the blend all the way so we can see we are on this one. What we can also do is do this kind of full animation below it with this line. So just grab a background and connect it like this and just make it white. Grab a polygon node and then just make the line from here to over here like this, and just check off solid, and then we can just drag up the width a little bit. This just drag it all the way over like this, and then just decrease the border width a little bit. We just want it to be this subtle line that just animates on right under it when we are on the earnings. Then we could just grab a rectangle, and the rectangle will just make quite a lot less wide. Drag it over like so. Go to the middle of the word, drag up the soft edge just a little bit to get these kind of smooth corners. So I'll just go to the frame where the cursor is beginning to get on it, keyframe the width, drag down to 0, and then just go to frame 290 and just drag it up until the word is all the way highlighted like this. And then we can just go into the spline here, highlight all of these, click on S, and then just drag up the ease in quite a bit and the ease out as well, so we get this really smooth animation. What we're just going to do now is just go to the mouse. As you can see, we're on frame 300 now, and as you can see, we lose the frame here. But what you can do now is just go to the media here. So this one is for the ChatGPT, and you can just click on loop like this. This way it stays on the screen, because the compound clip, as you can see here, is only 300 frames. So if you just click on loop, it will stay on the screen, and that's what we want. For the transform here, we can just keyframe the size, go 5 frames ahead, keyframe it again, and go 5 more frames ahead. Then we add frame 310 and just go to the middle one and then just drag this one up a bit like this, and then just mark all of this, click on S, smoothen it out, and then we get this mouse click. So now we can start animating this really cool looking graph we are going to be using. So the way we're gonna do that, we'll just grab a background node as the background for everything. So just grab a rectangle for it, then we'll just make the graph over here. So we'll just drag it a bit down because we want to add some text up here. And let me see, this looks quite good. Now we can just round off the corners a little bit, change the color of this one. I'll make it this dark blue color. And now we have two options. What you can either do if we don't have the effects core pack is you can just make a gradient that goes like this with a dark blue color down here, and then it will just become some more light toned blue. So something like this, and then I'll just add another point here and make it a bit more dark again, like this. This is what you could do, and also use the free Lightsweep light, which is in the starter pack. So now I'll just show you how I would do it with the new Lightsweep Pro, which is also in the effects core pack. So as you can see now, we get this really cool looking light sweep. We can just drag it over a bit, change the tint on the edge, so we get this really cool looking blue color, and then just drag up the soft edge quite a bit, make it a bit wider maybe, and already now we got something quite cool looking. And I'll just de-enable the glow because we'll be adding some glows later on. So for this animation, we'll just go to the rectangle here, and when this one is getting clicked at frame 305 or whatever, we can just keyframe the width and just go to frame 340 whatever, and make this a lot less white. And then we just go into the spline here, highlight all of this, right click and do ease and out cubic, and we get this really smooth out animation like this. I'll honestly just drag down the intensity just a little bit on this one, and now we can make the graph if we want that. So I'll just go ahead, grab a background, I'll choose this one because it's white, and then we can just take polygon, add it like this, and then just do a point here and a point over here somewhere, and then just check off solid, and then we just add a little tiny bit of border width into it. And I'll just drag this one over again like so, because we're going to do the trick with the rectangle as well on this one. We'll just do like this, and then just add a little bit of soft edge. This one we will just make really thin, so we get something looking like this. Then we just copy these here and add them right after it, and this one we'll just make go up to the corner like so. We'll go up like this and down, start from same place, so we get this exponential kind of looking curve, and we want it to go a bit further up, so somewhere here. The reason why we can't see it is because of this rectangle, so I'll just make it a bit taller like this, and this looks really clean. This background here, I'll just make a gradient, and then the darkest place will be up here, and the light will be down here, and the dark will be a light blue, so this cyan kind of blue color. And then we just grab all of these things here, drag them over a little bit like this, and then we have a little bit more room to work on. Now let's just grab this background and add it like this and create a merge with it like so, and then add an ellipse to it. Then we can add a transform and then just size it down quite a bit, and then we can make it stick to the end of this one here when it animates on, which is really nice. So what we'll do is just go into this one and then just remove this keyframe and then just right click on it and then publish it, which means we just publish this curve, you can say. So we can use this curve as the animation for this one here. So then we can just right click on the center, do animate, then modifiers, and then we can right click here and then connect to polygon. Which one is this one here? This one would be 2.1. So right click, connect to polygon 2.1 value. As you can see now, it's on top of the other one. This will be connected to this graph here, and as you can see now, it deleted the position. So what we'll do is we'll just do this one once again. I don't really know why it does this, but sometimes it just happens. So we'll just make the curve once again, and I'll just size it down quite a bit. I think it's way too big, so something like this looks good. And yeah, this should be good. For the graph polyline here, we can just make it a tiny bit bigger. Yeah, this is a bit better, and drag it over a bit like so, and this is really good. Now if we take a mental note of what it says here in the, as you can see in the left, it says graph polyline right length, and what we'll be using that for is sticking this one up here is sticking the circle to the length of the animation. So if it decreases the length, we'll make it so this ball here sticks to the length. So how we're gonna do that is just go into the ellipse here, not the ellipse, the transform, and then just go to the modifiers and then the path, and then just remove the keyframe here and right click and do expression. And in this expression we're just gonna write the displacement will be the same as the length of the graph polyline. So I'll just make this one say graph poly and then do dot, which means we change from the node's name to the control's name. So I'll just do right length like this. So as you can see now, it follows the line. Not completely perfect, but it does it quite well, and it actually looks pretty good once you animate it. So as you can see, it follows it pretty alright, but in the animation itself it looks really good. So I'll just make a keyframe at frame 125 on the length, and then I'll just go to the last frame here, and I'll just keyframe, then I'll just go to the first one and drag the length down to 0, and I'll just go to this polyline and do the exact same thing. So I'll just go to the last one, a keyframe, and the first keyframe at frame 125, drag down to 0, then I'll just do both here, and then we can remove polyline and just Control A and S on the keyboard, and then just drag up the ease in and the ease out a bit. So as you can see now, we get the super clean animation. And what we can do for this one here is, if we just go to the merge for it, for the circle, we can change the operator from over to a top, and as you can see, when we do that, we only see the circle once the rectangle is on it. It's really cool. And we can just do this for all of these. So just do a top, and then you can see the line there is removed, and then do a top for this one as well. So as you can see, then it just starts animating now, and then we'll get the animation. And now we'll just be writing some text for the corner there. So I'll just grab another text, this, and then I'll just make this one say money earned. Change the font to enter like this, and make it semi-bold and size down quite a bit. And I'll just move this to the corner up here and drag down the opacity quite a bit like this. And just copy it. You can just copy this one and add it right after, like so. And this one you'll just, and now you can just type any dollar amount. I'll just type 1,798. Just do whatever your client says. If you're editing for a client, so just do what amount of money he made or whatever you really want to do. And of course, this isn't what I've earned on this video. It's just a fraction of the price I earned. I think I earned some around $2 for it. So it's not true. It's fake news. I get this most money from a short video like that. Anyway, let's just finish this. So I'll just drag up the opacity and go to the gradient, and then from mapping level, as you can see, if we change the angle, we change the angle on the individual characters, but we want to change it on the word, for example. Then I'll make this one this cyan color we used earlier as well, so something like this, so it matches this one over here, and then we should be good. And this one, I think we can just drag this one up a little bit more, so it's all the way up like that. And well, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. Now we can just grab the NeoAnim so we can animate these on. And if you don't have the NeoAnim, you can just do a normal text animation. It's quite simple actually, but I'll just use the NeoAnim just to save some time. So as you can see now, we got the NeoAnim, got the wrong one. Let's take this one over here instead, and then we'll just delay it with, let's just take a look, make it slide on at 330. As you can see, the slides left. I want not it to slide as long. I want it to come from the bottom, so I'll just do -90 on the angle, then it slides up. And for the other one over here, we will make it slide from the right, so we'll just do 180. So then we'll just slide from the right side, and let's just do 325, so we get the slide on a bit earlier, like that. Really cool. We'll also just do the animation up there. That says video analytics, which I forgot earlier. So let's just copy these two here and add them up here. All the, if you remember, we did all the text animations and all that stuff up here. So as you can see, we got a quite big node tree right now, but all the text animations is up here. Then I think we animated on at frame 200, so I'll just go to frame 220, and then I'll just make this one same video analytics. We want it to be on at frame 220, and we want it to be full visibility and to be extra bold and quite big in the size. And just drag it over here in the middle between this video and the other side here, just to make it look a bit better. And I'll just make the angle on the NeoAnim for it -90, so we just get this slide up instead. Yeah, everything looks good. So this was pretty much what we are going to be doing of all this design and all that stuff. So now we can add some glows and whatever. So first off, I'll just add a glow to this here. I will use the new glow, which is in my free starter pack, as well as the new core pack. So as you can see, this glow looks really good. If we just compare to the soft glow, the soft glow is really bad, as you can see. As you can see, the soft glow is so bad compared to the new glow. But it comes at a cost, because the new glow is really hard to render. So I will recommend you to edit it last on when you're editing. Because if you just turn off the soft glow again and add the new glow, you can see this looks 10 times more premium. So once we have added that new glow, we can just go over here and add the glow to all of these things here. And as you can see, the intensity is quite too intense, so we will just drag it down quite a bit. And now it looks good, but I'll just turn the intensity light sweep down just a notch like this. And maybe it's still a bit too intense. Now we are good. Now we can just add the glow to text here, and once again, a bit too much. So if we just do something like this, we should be good. And if we want to, we can just do this slide zoom in. So we can just add transform, add a keyframe on the size in the end here, and a keyframe on the size in the beginning, and then to the latest one. And this looks quite good. Now what we can do is just to go to all of the moving parts and add some motion blur. So how you do that is just go, let's see where we have some text, for example. Let's just go to the graph here, then just go into settings and then do motion blur. But once you do this, the render time will be really bad. So I'd recommend you to do this right before you render the whole video. I won't do it for now because I don't want to render it now. I just want to take a look at how the result is. So let's just go back to the edit page and take a look at everything. And that's a full UI animation that works for anything you want to bring to life. If this video helped you, make sure to like and subscribe. And if there's anything you want to see in the next video, comment down below what it is. Have a great day out there, and I'll see you in the next video.